Hello and welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to talk about Leave the World Behind. I have some beef with this book because when you read kind of what it's about, it sounds really exciting, and I didn't get that, sadly. So there's a family who is renting a house, a vacation house. It's a mother, a father, and two kids, two teenagers. Their first night there is a man and a woman who knocks at the door. This is at night. Yes, this is happening at night. Man and a woman who is knocking on the door, trying to stay calm, talking about how they need a place to stay, but they are the owners of the house. They are talking about a blackout in the city, and something is going on. So that is really intriguing. Something is going on. The owners of the house are wanting to stay at their house while a family is already renting it. And does this family believe that these people are the owners? Do they trust them? So what was intriguing to me was what was happening in the city. Do they trust them or don't they? And if they don't, what kind of things will they be getting into while they're all inside the house together? But at the same time, I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to tell if they are the owners or not. So let's start there. They are questioning to themselves and to each other, not directly to the people who knocked on the door, but they are questioning, are they who they say they are? They don't ask for IDs. They don't ask for any type of proof, if they are who they say they are, if they are the homeowners. So I found that kind of to have been dragging. Another thing was, I think this takes place in like 2 or 3 days. I didn't quite enjoy the writing. Not even 50 pages in, maybe not even 20 pages in. For some reason, I would read a page and not remember anything that I had read. Even when I would stop reading and come back to the book, you know how you read to find out where you stopped. I would sometimes have to go to the previous page and read that whole thing again and kind of remember that I read it, turn the page, read that page, and be like, well, shit, I read this too. There was a lot of rereading and not somehow, for some reason, not understanding what I'm reading. So I thought this book was going to be a quick read. It's not very big. It's less than 300 pages. It's less than 250 pages. I thought I would read this in a couple days. I read it in about a week because I would read a couple of pages or a chapter and nothing was going anywhere. Some of the things that kind of stick out to me were the husband and wife who were renting the house could not really agree on whether to trust the couple or not. The couple's race kept getting brought up, or was brought up a few times, but it was like, why does that matter? It wasn't really crucial to the story. The wife would keep thinking to herself that she doesn't like them, she doesn't trust them, she doesn't want them there. But she wouldn't say, like, obviously, if it were happening to you, you would have some trust issues. But they weren't exactly doing anything to learn that they can be trusted or to just make them leave. But it is their house, so if it were me, I would have left. If I were so worried about being under the same roof with strangers who just came knocking late at night, I wouldn't want to stay there. The husband who was renting the house, he was not taking charge like a man, a father, a husband normally would. I don't know if that would be considered very sexist to say, but he was kind of useless, to be honest. First of all, he is not as concerned as his wife is, as he should have been. They don't know those people. They don't know what they're capable of. They don't know if they're telling the truth. But they stay the night and they're all there together, okay? The next day, he goes out into the city. And this is another thing that I had an issue with. The guy who is not from there is going out. No internet, no cell phone service. He's just going out blindly to the city to see what is happening, what is going on. I should have mentioned this earlier. They don't have any internet service at the house. They don't have any cable, so they can't go online to figure out what's going on. They can't watch the news. So the dad goes out with the purpose to figure out what's going on and what is scaring this couple so badly. Pretty much he doesn't make it to the city. He sees a woman on the road, at the side of the road or something. She doesn't speak English, and he doesn't have the patience or the courage to try to figure out what this woman is trying to say. She seems frantic, so he just kind of is like, bye. So when he finally returns, which is hours later, he is ashamed to tell everyone that he didn't make it to the city and he didn't find anything out. And he also says that he doesn't see anyone. But it's like, why would you lie about the woman? So I don't think that lie even had a purpose. I don't think that woman really had a purpose. There was a lot of things in here that didn't really have a purpose. The bottom line is, I feel like if this were real life, I feel like people would have been a little more proactive. I feel like the two men should have gone to the city so that they're not alone. If they're so scared, you wouldn't want one of your own to like go out by themselves. So naturally it would be the two men who would go out, especially the guy who owns the house would know where to go because the other guy got lost. The two men should have gone together while the wife who is on vacation stay at the house with her 2 kids, especially if she doesn't trust that woman. Otherwise, I would have just upped and left with my family. Why would I want to be under the same roof while I'm worrying and nervous about whether or not we could trust these people? Also, they had not done anything that was untrustworthy, but the wife on vacation was just constantly thinking to herself that she wanted them to leave. The 2 kids, the 2 teenagers, they go off on their own. Nothing really happens except like a boom. There's a boom that scares them. They come back crying, scared. I don't even know what the boom was. Another thing I didn't mention was the night they arrived, the night the man and the woman knocked on the door. Was it the night or the next morning? They were talking about warfare. What if it's a war? What if it's a terrorist attack? They were just coming up with their own scenarios. But it's like, why are you going to get so ahead of yourself? And the reason why I'm confused is because the writing is not very clear, and it was very hard to imagine what was going on. It didn't depict very much. Besides, they were scared, they were worried. Anyway, they allowed their minds to think of the craziest scenarios of why the city had no power and why there was no airplanes. Because I guess in that area you would normally hear airplanes going by. But there was nothing. But it's like, why would you allow yourself to get carried away instead of just going out to see for yourselves? I don't know. Why would you stay in there and just keep thinking that something is wrong rather than figure out what's going on at least a little bit? I mean, the guy didn't even make it to the city. I feel like you should drive to the city at least a little bit, get a little close to civilization. Overall, this book for me had a lot of nothing. They went nowhere. They figured nothing out. The craziest thing that happened was the teenage boy got sick and like 5 of his teeth fell out. Why? They didn't know. They kept saying they were going to take him to the doctor, but the man who was the owner of the vacation house said, no, we're going to stop by and see Danny, or whatever his name is. He would have the answers. He had no answers. I was very confused. I was very displeased. I had no answers to anything. Overall, it was a very disappointing reading experience. I had very high hopes for this, but it is what it is. So I just watched 3 reviews, the first 3 that popped up. 3 reviews of Leave the World Behind, and the first one, she loved it. The second one, I think it was the next 2, they wouldn't recommend it, pretty much. I was scrolling, just looking at, the thumbnails and stuff. I think more people didn't enjoy it. So I think having not enjoyed it was the more popular opinion. But if you did enjoy it, that's great. I wish I would have, but the writing was just not for me. I needed something a little more descriptive, more information in order for me to enjoy things like that. That is my review and thoughts for leave the world behind. Join me for my next book, Exit Here. I've literally never seen this book anywhere else. I think I got this from a secondhand bookstore. Or was it Goodwill? I think I got it last year, sometime last year, a couple years ago. It's called Exit Here, a novel by Jason Myers. Enter apathy. Travis is back from school for the summer, and he's just starting to settle into the usual pattern at home. Drinking, drugging, watching Korn, and hooking up. But Travis isn't settling in like he used to. Something isn't right. Maybe it's that deadly debauch in Hawaii, the memories of which Travis can't quite shake. Maybe it's Laura, Travis's ex, who reappears on the scene after a messy breakup and seems to want to get together, or not. Or maybe it's his suddenly sensing how empty and messed up his life is and wanting out. But once you're at the party, it's tough to leave. So it gives me, it gives me not good vibes. It seems like it's going to be very sad, very emotional. I'm hoping that there is more to it. It doesn't seem like a very big book. It doesn't seem like there's a lot. It's pretty small and kind of squarish. It's less than 500 pages, but the pages are pretty short. Anyway, thank you for watching.